Hi, welcome to another day of video article on lifesciencementor.com. I'm Florian, and today is day 37 of the Idea Machine Challenge. And today's topic is reasons why adults laugh less than children. So it said that children laugh like 300 times a day. That's laugh, L-A-U-G-H. And adults laugh only like 5 times a day. And why is that? It's not necessarily good, but it's apparently matter of fact. So just wanted to think about some reasons why we might lose our humor. And come to think about it, the first is that, let me check this out. The first reason is that people live in a scarcity mentality, right? So people think that someone's out to get them. That's one manifestation of scarcity mentality, or that they will never be prosperous, or that that resources are limited. And that mentality of scarcity, you hold on to what you have because it could be gone the next day, or in the future, and so you worry. If you live in an abundance mentality, however, abundance means that you're not scarce, but you embrace what the day has in store for you, because you know where there is one thing, there are more, right? So it's basically if you find a treasure, if you have a scarcity mindset, you will nervously watch over the treasure and hope that nobody comes take it. And if you have an abundance mentality, you see the treasure chest. Even if you just see like 2 or 3 coins, you'll see, there's the treasure chest. There will be more. I found one treasure. I can do it again in the future. Now, when you have a scarcity mindset, then you will not let go. You will not get the necessary distance to be able to laugh about something. You will not show humor. You will dedicate all your resources to basically protecting what you have. And so when you worry all the time about what might happen to you, then you will not be able to let go and just don't worry too much about it, and just see it from a funny, laughing perspective. So that's one reason why adults often laugh less than children. And one way to change that is to change your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Mike Cernovich wrote a book, Gorilla Mindset. I've reviewed it, and it has a very concise course, basically, from starting from self-talk up to developing your own vision that teaches you an abundance mentality. So that is a very useful resource. There are other resources out there. Basically, you want to be able to embrace what you have and don't worry about it. There'll be more tomorrow. You want to get into that mindset, and then you can also step back and laugh about it. That's number one. Number two is we judge ourselves too harshly. And that leads to one syndrome that is called imposter syndrome. And I had that for a long time, and I only freed myself last year from it. So basically, imposter syndrome means that wherever you are in your career, you think you only got there through sheer luck, because you don't think that you yourself are resourceful enough, that you don't think that you yourself have earned the position where you are. No, it's just a twist of fate that brought you there. So essentially you feel like a fraud, and then you start judging yourself, and usually very harshly so. So when you say something, you will start thinking about it first. Is that something really that I can say? Will that just not make people uncomfortable when I say that? Will that not make people think that I'm a loser, that I'm a fraud? No, I can't do that. Maybe I say this and it's just not funny, and then people will see me as not funny guy. No, can't have that. because I'm already a fraud in this position. So I don't want to have people a bad opinion of me, right? Independent if you see yourself as a fraud in that position, which you would in the very extreme cases, you don't necessarily need to see you like that, but you're already judging yourself for saying something that people might not feel funny, and then you just don't say it. And so that way you make everything that should be a spontaneous action, you make that into a thought process in your mind, and that's just not how humor works. So in the end, you prefer not to laugh at all. So that's to me that's reason two. And the only way that you get rid of judging yourself too much is basically doing things that you want to do. You should ask yourself, is that something that I really want to do, or is that am I working on something that I don't really like, right? So then you orient yourself on the long run to a different profession. But you want to basically switch. A little bit of judgment is good and useful, right? Don't get me wrong. So you want to judge if something that you take, some action that you do today, if that is conducive to a long-term goal. Is eating this ice cream really going to help you lose weight? No. So maybe don't eat that ice cream today, right? So that's judgment of the situation. Also judging, like, you know, if your words will directly hurt someone, right? If you say something that would expose somebody else unnecessarily, right? If you say something that somebody else trusted you, somebody is your friend, and then you just say something careless that makes him look bad, or something like that, right? You want to avoid something immediately that puts your own goals into jeopardy, and that puts you on. You don't want to be careless about your relationship to friends, right? Of course, judgment is good in these positions, and you also want to call out your friends if they do something that you think brings them long-term damage or peril, and you want to tell them about that. So having an inner judge is not a bad thing, but having that judge blocks seeking approval for every single one of your actions and for every single one of your comments and your jokes and your laughter from your inner judge is a recipe to stay serious all the time, and then you never show any laughter, right? So I want you to change. Don't put the inner judge into session. Put your inner vision into session, right? Something that you really want to do. Ask yourself, what I'm doing today, is that what I want, or is that something I don't really want? And work towards things that you really like. Put your vision that you have, how you want your life to be. Put that into place, and that is your imagination that you put into place. Not an imagination of an inner judge that that has to sign off on whatever you say or whatever remarks you do, or on your laughter or whatever, right? So that's number two. Don't judge yourself too harshly. And number three is political correctness. So people don't laugh anymore because they don't dare in some cases to laugh. They don't dare in some cases to be humorous. So we have an atmosphere today in this country and all of the world, basically, in Europe the same, where university students demand safe spaces from anything that is said, right? There's somebody says something that could be triggering or remotely perceived as threatening, whatever. People worry about it, so they are triggered. And then they have these safe spaces at university where they can retract and hide from the evil words that are out there. And people just have to roughen a little bit up. People just are oversensitive, feel like overprotected, feel like the world owes them something. And as a result, you not only have speakers that have contrary opinions shunned from campus, disinvited from campus, you also have comedians that don't want to do any stand-up comedy anymore on campus, on college campuses, right? I think Chris Rock doesn't perform on college campuses anymore. Some others as well, because whatever you say, whatever joke you crack, somebody might feel offended. Well, guess I have news for you. The very essence of some jokes is to offend in a playful way, right? So these safe spaces, social justice warriors, political correctness, makes everything bland and boring. And and then no wonder that people don't laugh anymore. That would be number 3. Number 4 is being afraid to die. So the older you grow, the more you see people that die around you. And chances are, if you see this, you're probably still alive. But that puts, if you're not careful, that puts some kind of constraint on you, right? You see people die, people that were close to you, and you get reminded on your own mortality, and then you start fearing that. You start fearing to die, and then basically you die before you actually are dead. Bob Dylan had composed a song once in the 60s where he saw people, there was this big, people were afraid of nuclear war, right, in the 60s and 70s. And he said at one point he walked through New York City and he saw people building a bomb shelter, and they were basically, to him, that was madness, because people basically giving in to their fears and not thinking about what they were actually doing there, just responding to their fear and doing something. While it may be prudent to construct shelters, the way people are fearful leads to, you don't enjoy your life anymore, because now the fear of death replaces the joy of life. So, and he composed a song about it, "Let me die in my footsteps before I go under the ground." Right, because most people die because of some reaction to something. They're basically already dead mentally, right? So don't be afraid to die. I mean, everyone dies, so we might as well just make the best out of our time here in this on this earth, which is finite. So don't follow anyone that you don't want to follow. I mean, do what you really like to do, and if you want to laugh, laugh. Life is too precious to just be wasted away in fear, right? So just train yourself to think about that, that everyone dies at one point, right? And you want to get to a position where you are right now, where you could die right now and still not regret anything, right? People always think, oh, when I die, I don't want to have any regret. That's actually the number one regret of people before they die, that they didn't do what they really wanted to do. And I would even go one step further. Live every day so that that if you would die now, you wouldn't spend your last minutes in regret. Live every day as if you could die tomorrow. That doesn't mean live recklessly. Follow your plans and follow your dreams and put your work in. But always look out in a positive way. Never think about what happens when you die, and then never put your actions in place as a reaction to that you may sometimes die. Do what you really like to do, and live every day so that you have no regret about every single day. That's what I have to say to that. Being afraid to die is a way to not laugh anymore. And then number 5 is, and that feeds a little back on number 3, political correctness, taking what society tells you is the safe road. So people don't push themselves easily to get out of their comfort zone. That's why it's called a comfort zone, right? People have this goal of being comfortable, right? And they don't want to take a leap of faith. But humor means being spontaneous. If you try not to ever go out of your comfort zone, you're only reacting to what life gives you. You want to act, you want to step out, you want to venture into territory that is not known to you yet. You want to expand your comfort zone, if you will. Because if you only stay in your comfort zone, you will not develop at all. That's like just doing repetitive things. A robot stays in its comfort zone all the time. So I would advise you to just dare. If you feel you're too much in your comfort zone, then step out of that comfort zone. And that's easier said than done. You can't just be confident and step out of your comfort zone. But you want to do, the way it works for me is doing like a little bit more than you thought you would be able to do every day, right? So do something unexpected that you wouldn't normally do, right? Meet some friends that you would normally not meet, right? learn some sport or do some workout per day if you never did that before. Make yourself feel uncomfortable. Read books that you wouldn't agree with immediately and stuff like that. Challenge yourself a little bit here and there. And then you realize that if you always challenge yourself a little bit, you get out of your comfort zone, and you have over time you get the ability to let go a little bit, right? And that's important. That's a very big prerequisite for just being able to laugh. Number 6 is a big one, that is replacing humor with snark. And snark is this kind of whippy, sarcastic quip that's supposed to signal how smart of a person you are. So you kind of like, ugh, ha ha ha. With your laughter, you signal that you're kind of above the other person. You don't laugh. I mean, you just like, you're not even only laughing about the other person, you're also making a statement that you're better than them. There will be somebody who's I think Joel Barrow is his name. He sent a tweet off recently where he said, always when I fly over Middle America, or fly of the middle of the country, the Midwest, I look down and get reminded that's where Two Broke Girls viewer live. And I mean, why would he look down on people that are not as intellectual as he is? I mean, this is a big problem. People think because they are so cool and so intellectual and they belong to the in group, right? They can look down on all the other hicks, And I see that tendency more and more, and most from people that are politically left wing. I mean, look down on people that are more conservative because they think they're all dumb or hicks or backwater people, and that's just simply not true. And if you engage in that kind of humor, and I have to say, to my regret, The Daily Show, which I really liked at one point, also has degraded much more and more. If you watch that, Jon Stewart has also done a lot of snark, and it's just signal. It's just a status signal, right? You're not really laughing about something. You construct some humor to construct like feel good for the echo chamber, right? The people around you that are on your level have the very same opinions that you do, will never challenge you in any way. You signal that you're better than those still because you develop some sarcasm against those, right? It's boring on the long run. It's not innovative. And what happens if you engage in that kind of humor, you will end up holding yourself to a high status that you may not always be able to adhere to that. In other words, if you think you're always so highly spirited and proud, you're better than them, at one point you may be in the same situation, right? But then you have trouble. Now you can't express yourself the same way because now you may be in the same situation as those hicks, right? You may gasp. You may even like watching Two Broke Girls, but no, you can't do that because you just ridiculed those people that watch those. So no, you can't be like them. You can't be like them. You don't watch Two Broke Girls. I don't know about the show, but that's just the example that the guy on Twitter used, right? So using snark puts yourself into a miserable position because you always have to adhere to the high-flying standard you set with no good reason at all, right? So don't set yourself up for failure. So if you see life as live and let live. That's what I wrote in the accompanying blog post. Yeah, if you disagree with someone, don't try to put him down or her. Just don't make it a big deal. I mean, if you don't agree with someone, just walk away and don't mention that those are all hicks, backwater. Why? I mean, if you don't like them, walk away, right? Don't try to concoct some elaborate humor just to please your friends, right? That in the end, that's slavery. You enslave yourself to a higher status that you established among you and your friends. And it's boring. All right, that's number 6. Number 7, now we get more into the spiritual part, is not being present. So when we're working with something, our mind is already at the next item, right? So we're doing the dishes, but we already think about taking out the trash. Very simple example. That means we're we don't have a fundament to stand on, right? We're flying right over our things, and we think we get more done, but on the long run, we don't feel like we got nothing done. How often do you look back at the end of the day and think, somehow the day flew by and nothing really happened? Well, a day can fly by because you were really completely sunk into something, or it flew by because then by the end of the day, if you've done that, if you were always present within things you did, then sort of like it feels like you start the day and then you do your thing, you're present, then you eat lunch, you're present in that. And on the afternoon, you talk to some people, you're present in the conversation. At the end, you write a little bit more on your book or on your blog, you're present. And then maybe you read a book that you like and then you go to sleep. You're always present. And that way, every time of the day feels like you're in the zone, feels like you're there, and suddenly the evening of the day comes around, but that's fine as well, right? But if you fly over things, doing things like while you do this, already think about something else, or most annoyingly, if you're in a conversation and you talk to someone, some people just like shift their feet away, and then they talk to you, but they're already looking away, and that is hurting yourself. Because the person who talks to you will not have a drive to talk to you again. It's disrespectful. And it also hurts yourself because you're not present right here in the moment. So if you're not present in the day, then at the end of the day, you feel like you got nothing done. It's hugely disappointing. The day flew by and you just didn't get anything done. You worry about the time you lost over the day. That's the difference, right? So you want to be present. If you're present, you feel every time of the day as if it's the beginning or the end at the same point. That's sort of how I would describe it. And if you're present, if you're really present in something, if you really have a fundament there, then that's a fundament on which you can also grow humor, which you can also laugh, because you get kind of carried, you focus on what you're doing, but at the same time, you get instant feedback from what you're doing, right? You put in your work and you're happy because you put it in. So you get happiness back. I type a text on my keyboard in the morning. I see text emerging on the screen. It makes me happy. I get inspired to have some new thoughts. And that way, I'm present, and that way sometimes I can laugh about some things, right? And so that sort of like you put work in, and there's emotions that come back at you and carry you. And sometimes these emotions are funny, and then you start laughing. Children are in fact very present in their playing. There's nothing else. They just play. Are completely sunk into it. And somehow we lose that ability to focus and be present in the moment. So two ways to get that. One way is Headspace.com, for example, has a good meditation, has a good meditation app. And if you're worried about using time, it's not that bad. I mean, it's 10 minutes per day. You can have, everyone has 10 minutes, later on it's 15 minutes. It doesn't take you long, right? You sit down for 10, 15 minutes and you learn to deal with all the thoughts that are around in your mind. And you deal with them by just ignoring them and focus on what you really, on yourself, on your breathing, on yourself being in the moment. The trick is not to try satisfying all these thoughts in your mind. The trick is to kind of like ignore them and just let them be, right? That's what you learn through meditation. The second is reserve 30 minutes a day where you just go back into a room where it's only you or there's no distractions, and you just take a book or just sit down and listen to some music, right? Or just, as I've written in one of my first idea posts, take 3 minutes even out of your day at some point. Just close your eyes and think about nothing. Just be there in the moment. And if you do that more, you're also increasing your chance that you start laughing again. Number 8, not being financially independent. Children are very sheltered. You know, their parents care for them. So the children don't worry about anything. So they can completely focus, or completely let themselves go in the moment and playing. That's what you can do if you're financially independent as an adult. That's similar, because that means whenever you stop working, you don't worry. You still have enough money to pay food and shelter, and even in later stages get, like, if you're financially independent, You can even have like enough money to buy yourself a nice car or live in a nice part of city, stuff like that, right? Without having to work for it. That would be my definition of financial independence. So basically, no matter what you do, you're always taken care of. And that's how children can become present in their play. That's how you can be present also in everything you do. It's a damn good feeling. Wrong nutrition and lack of health is number 9. Yeah, if you eat like shit and you don't work out and you don't take care of yourself, then you are slightly sick, or chances are that you may be more easily sick. If you're more easily sick, then you have less energy to laugh. It's very simple. Feel better. You already feel better if you work out and eat healthy, and feeling better is the very, very base of being able to laugh. So that's one possibility to be more, to laugh more. And then number 10 is, if you live in isolation, you won't have many opportunities to laugh. I mean, if you read some funny books, yes. But the main point is meet up with people and then talk to them, interact with them, and then you have enough opportunities to laugh. Number 11, our muscles atrophy. There's like 50 or 60 muscles that are active when we laugh. And, some of the muscles we don't even use when we don't laugh. So if we don't use our muscles to laugh, then they atrophy over time, as any other muscle would be. And then it's just much more of an effort for your face to break out the laughter. And so your mind chooses not to laugh. And you would basically train your muscles and basically work them out a little bit more also when you eat healthy and work out, right? This just trains all your muscles. There's no way that you wouldn't, right, come and be in a more healthy mood, laugh more, you work out your laughing muscles more in your face, and then you just have an easier time to laugh, right? So one way you could do that is to just remind yourself to just smile for no good reason. First of all, if you smile for no good reason, you become happy. And at the beginning, you have to remind yourself every day to smile now and then. But, once you get into the habit of smiling, you do that automatically. Just if maybe somebody says something stupid, something with which you don't agree, just make it a habit to laugh. I think you have a better chance of seeing stuff with which you disagree 300 times a day than if you're stuff that you find genuinely funny in the first place 300 times a day. So just train yourself, let yourself be triggered, trigger warning, let yourself be triggered by stuff you disagree with and just smile for no good reason about it. And that's how you get used to smile again. Of course, it could also be that just aliens have invaded our society and taken away all the humor, and then they can't give it back because they laughed themselves to death, and now the universe has all the humor, which you realize when you sort of like try to screw with your karma, the universe laughs right back at you. All right. With that being said, I wish you a nice start in the week. Thank you very much for accompanying me here on my videos. It means a lot to me. If you enjoyed this video, just kindly click like. I'd really appreciate that. If you leave me a comment, I'll answer it, every comment, and I like talking to you. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you again tomorrow on the other side. Bye. Oh, and almost forgotten. If you're wondering what this guy is, who I had on the intro video, this is Nutty. Nutty is from the TV show Happy Tree Friends. And Nutty just gets sugar flashes. So that's why he has all the candy on top of his head. I have some links to that show. It's pretty funny, actually. If you want to start laughing, watching that show is a pretty good start. Now, take care and have a good start in the week. See you tomorrow.